the narratives that are out there and the biases that we have in our minds create this misperception that we're farther apart, that the other side is irrational and uninformed and hostile toward us. And really, we think that they hate us, both sides feel that way. But a lot of that is really coming from the biases that we have in our own minds.
America has seen some of the worst division in its history over the last several years, with everything from the January 6th storming of the U.S. Capitol to the riots over the murder of George Floyd and the disagreements over the conflict in the Middle East. But the author of a new book called Facing the Fracture: How to Navigate the Challenges of Living in a Divided Nation says our differences aren't so far apart as many people think they are.
We see our job as protecting ourselves and the people on our side. And we see the other side as a threat to us. And we perceive them as being aggressive toward us, sometimes when they're also just trying to protect themselves and their side.
Dr. Tanya Israel is a professor of counseling psychology at the University of California, Santa Barbara, and Facing the Fracture's author. Her book takes a deep dive into these political differences that cause polarization, including the media and how individuals assess the information that they're getting.
There's a whole array of things that we are struggling with in these divided times. So, for example, how do we consume media in such a way that we can be informed and at the same time not be consumed by it?
Aside from the anxiety that political polarization causes, Dr. Israel says that it also leads to apathy by the majority who are not on the extreme right or left.
Most people are in what More in Common calls the exhausted majority. Most people are not at either end. Most people are somewhere in the middle, but also the exhausted majority has some distinctive characteristics. Not only are they tired of the vitriol on either side, but it's actually causing them to disengage from our society, from our democracy. They're not voting, they're not participating in their communities. And some of that is because they don't feel like there's a place for them, because what they really see in the media is representations of two different sides battling it out, and they just don't want to be any part of that.
Facing the Fracture is now available to read for everyone as of August 13th. Dr. Israel says that while the divisiveness often seems to be out of control, she says one thing to keep in mind is that there are a lot of people working together to bridge this divide.
I want people to feel informed, empowered, and even optimistic. The more I do this work, the better I feel about other Americans and about the future of our country, because I am seeing the people who are really working to bridge the divide. And people are tired of the divisiveness, and we're not as far apart as we think we are.